Hello my YouTube friends, it's Bobbie, and today I'm going to show you how to make an elegant lace cookie. So let's lace up! Beginning with a naked brown sugar cookie and a tipless bag filled with eucalyptus flood consistency icing, outline and ice the cookie. Now using our scribe tool, we'll coax the icing to the edge and remove any air bubbles and allow the cookie to dry for 8 to 12 hours. Measure out your lines for your cookie. The horizontal lines going across are 1/4 of an inch apart, and then the little lines that are going vertical are 1/4 of an inch apart. Overpipe them with soft consistency icing and a 1.5 nozzle. When you get to the circle, I'll explain what to do. Oops, I forgot to tell you, the icing has been pre-colored with the same eucalyptus food paste we used for the cookie, except that I have made it a shade and a half lighter. As we approach the circle, we're going to bring the line out to touch the circle and then start the line again at the other edge of the circle. And I just used a cap that I had to create the circle. So you want to pipe a line, stop at the circle, and then start at the other edge of the circle. And then pipe your lines in between. To create the lace, we're actually just doing string work, and we're creating a swag in between the horizontal lines as we touch the vertical lines. So start with the vertical line above the horizontal line. Make sure the bottom portion of that swag touches the vertical line. When you approach the circle, the swag needs to be much shorter, and you don't have those vertical lines, but it's not going to show when we get the flowers in. So start on the vertical line above the horizontal line, and make sure the swag, the bottom portion of that swag, touches the vertical line. Just drapes over it slightly. As you approach the bottom portion of the circle, you're going to do what you did on the top. Just make short swags. These are actually going to touch your vertical lines. Now continue piping the swag lines that create the lace all the way down to the bottom of the cookie. When you have finished with your lace, swap out your nozzle for a closed star 42 nozzle and then pipe a border around the cookie. Allow the cookie to dry for about 2 hours before continuing to the next step. The next step, we're going to use a fondant mold, and this is just a mold of different flowers, and I've chosen the one that I like best. Make a ball out of your fondant, and I'm using white, and then turn it into a cone. Place it into the flower that you like, and then use a rolling pin to help coat that fondant to stay inside the mold. You don't want it to go over the mold, and you don't want it to be smaller than the mold. I'm going to show it to you one more time, and I think I like that other flower better. So make sure you have a nice pointy cone, press the cone to the center, and then use the rolling pin to coat the fondant to the edges of the mold. Once you're satisfied, place the mold in your freezer for about 5 minutes. Then remove the mold from the freezer, turn it over, and they're flexible. At this point, the fondant should just come right out with a little bit of coaxing from your finger. And now we have 2 beautiful flowers. And I like the one on the left better, so that's the one I'm going to use, and I've made 3 of those. And now I want to dry paint them using petal dust. So starting with a bright yellow petal dust and a round brush, just go in and dry brush the center of the flower. Once you've dry painted all 3 flowers, we're going to switch out our color for an African violet, which is a purple petal dust. And using a small round brush, dipping it into the petal dust, and then I like to dab it off onto the cap and then the paper towel. Starting at the edge of one of the petals of your flowers, drag the color down or dry paint it down to the center. And it's okay if some of that yellow and purple get mixed up because flowers have multiple colors. Continue doing this to all the petals and then all 3 flowers. To homogenize the color a little bit better, move up to a larger brush and just dust off any excess petal dust. And then resume using the smaller brush. Once all 3 flowers are colored with the African violet, we're going to switch colors again, and I'm using a bright navy this time. And I'm going to start at the bottom towards the center and just pick places on the flower that I want to add that bright navy. To blend the blue so that you don't just have it sticking up at you, use the bigger round brush and just blend that blue into the purple color. Now that we have all the blue on the flowers, we're going to once again change colors to Cafe Latte. And using a small filbert brush, I believe this is a number 4, we're going to go over the entire flower, blending in the colors with the Cafe Latte. And this will give it a beautiful shimmering touch. Don't go over the center though, we just want to go over the petals of the flower. Now we need to attach the flowers to our cookie. And you're going to use the same icing, the one that's colored with the eucalyptus, to attach the flower. And I tend to do the same placement. I put 1 above at the top of the circle and then 2 underneath so that the bottom of the flower is touching the center, or the connection of the 2 flowers where they're intersecting. Now we need some leaves. So we're just going to pipe a few leaves where the spaces are left in between the flowers. Oh my goodness, I did it again. I'm using a stiff consistency eucalyptus colored icing. Recipe supplies and tools are listed in the description box below. Once the leaves are dry, you can paint them, and I'm going to go ahead and use the same eucalyptus food paste that I used to create the color to begin with, and just paint the leaves the eucalyptus color. Thank you everybody for watching. Here is a sneak preview to my online tutorial classes, and this one's for October. It's a portrait of a child.